Hello, my name is Steve Hermann, and I'm the author of Mediumship Mastery, The Ultimate Guide, and my YouTube channel that you're watching is completely dedicated, completely focused on providing quality training in regards to mediumship. I'm really into the teaching aspect of mediumship, and I'm really into helping people with their mediumship. And what I want to do is I want to have, ideally, some type of weekly lesson to help those of you who are students or working mediums expand your understanding of mediumship. So, with today's lesson, I'm going to ask you a question. How many of you watching this video know and can name the 3 British mediums who all shared the last name Roberts? How many of you know what their names were? And it's very, very easy to get them a bit confused because they all have similar first names as well. And of course their last name is Roberts, which is a very common name in the UK, isn't it? How many of you know the names of those exponents of spiritualism, those fantastic mediums, because they all worked for the spirit world for many decades, individually. They all touched countless thousands of individuals here in the physical world and really were able to function as vehicles for the higher personalities in the spirit world to express themselves. How many of you know about the 3 individuals whose last name was Roberts, and they were all mediums? They were all women, and they were all from England, and they all worked for many years for the purpose and the focus of mediumship to help other people. So the 3 mediums were Estelle Roberts, Ursula Roberts, and Eileen Roberts. How many of you knew that? How many of you are familiar? Now you might think you know a lot about mediumship, and you probably do. But I can tell you, if you want to really expand your understanding of mediumship, you want to study the lives of these 3 individuals. You want to study the teachings and the understandings of these 3 fantastic mediums. Now, Eileen Roberts, if we go back to the Depression era, into the 1940s as well, this lady was a fantastic medium. And she demonstrated survival. She demonstrated so many different phases of mediumship. You know, people watch so many mediums work, spiritualist churches, or maybe on television, or they're doing some theater presentation. The mediumship of Estelle Roberts, it was just beyond fantastic in terms of the extraordinary, specific, highly ultra-detailed evidence that was able to be conveyed through her. And in 1959, she put out a book, 40 Years a Medium. This is her autobiography. It's very, very, very good. In 1969, 50 Years a Medium came out, and she demonstrated at the Royal Albert Hall in London. She was great. When she worked, it wasn't just mental mediumship. She was a physical medium. And she brought through so many convincing proofs of the spirit. She worked with healing. She also worked with trance. And her main guide was Red Cloud. And there's even a book you can get. It's been reprinted. You can get it in England, the UK. And it's the teachings of Red Cloud. And I highly recommend you study things about Estelle Roberts, because it will help you with what you're doing as a medium. She was someone who really worked for the spirit world, and not a lot of people know about her, sadly. Now, the other medium, who is fantastic, and she authored quite a few books on mediumship development. She was a healer. She was a trance medium. Her main teacher that came through her from the world of spirit was named Ramadan, an Egyptian pharaoh. And her name was Ursula Roberts. Now that sounds a little bit like Estelle, doesn't it? People get it mixed up. And Estelle Roberts, I had the chance of working a bit with her and hanging out with her back in at the Isle of Wight in Shanklin, in UK. This was in 1994. She passed over in January 1996. She's just incredible. Any of her books. Got a stack of her books right here. And there's a number of other ones which I don't have. There's ones on the teachings of Ramadan, all about mediumship. She wrote that. That's like the last book she put out. Color healing for the New Age. The mystery of the human aura. Look at the aura and learn. Hints for healers. Hints on mediumship development. Hints on spiritual unfoldment. Wise stories for children. There's so many different books, and quite a few on the trance teachings of Ramadan. But she was incredible as a teacher, and she really worked with the right motivation, highly evolved. You want to work on your mediumship, you want to develop, you need to read some of her books. You need to learn more about her, because you can incorporate those understandings and realizations within your own work and what you're doing as a medium. And hey, you might even attract her or similar personalities in the spirit world to work through you and influence you. Now, the last Roberts that we're going to talk about, it's not an Ursula, and it's not an Estelle. Her name was Eileen Roberts. And I've hung out with Eileen Roberts when she was here. She passed over in 2009. She was around actually she was born in 1916. And I've hung out with her in England. She was in New Zealand quite a bit. She'd go there twice a year. She did a lot of work in the Boston area in Massachusetts. And she traveled all over the world teaching mediumship. For many years, she was involved with the Institute for Spiritualist Mediums, which is a very good organization. It's a teaching organization in the UK, dedicated for really bringing up the standards, raising the standards of quality within mediumship. So they even have, I guess you call it certification or registering, whatever the word you want to do, credentialed workers. And people can go through there and receive that. Not something they buy, not just because they can stand up and bring something through, but because there has to be quality. Not only that, there has to be understanding philosophically of the higher teachings of the Spirit. And Eileen Roberts, she was amazing. I mean, she was a very, very good teacher, very understanding of the mechanics of spirit communication and how it worked. I just remember, asking her different questions, and she really had a lot of insight. When she got into it, when she was younger, there were quite a few mediums working in those periods, one of which was Estelle Roberts. I mean, Ursula Roberts was around then too, if we go back in the UK. And a lot of other mediums who are probably forgotten. But it's those older mediums, those pioneers, like the three Roberts, that really paved the way for what's taking place in the present. And you can learn so much from these types of people. And when we think about it, like attracts like. If you're putting energy into your work and you're motivated the right way, you're going to attract high-level spirits to work with you. It's interesting, over the years, doing sessions for other mediums, who's working with them as part of their spirit band? Who's working with them as part of their spirit team? And I'll tell you, oftentimes, it's individuals discarnate who worked as mediums. Wouldn't you want any of these individuals who really had mastered mediumship to a very high degree? They've achieved a high degree of proficiency within mediumship. And very good with teaching, especially Ursula and Eileen. Wouldn't you want them working through you? Because they can influence you, people like that. And there's a lot of other ones out there too. If we go back the last century and a half, there's so many fantastic workers for the cause of mediumship and spirit communication. So if you like this video, please like it and definitely subscribe to my channel. Please check out my book, Mediumship Mastery. I teach a lot of online courses. I teach a lot of in-person courses. and I do one-on-one coaching and mentoring, and I'm always here to help you with your development. You can email me, you can add your comments or questions, and I'll do my best to get back to you and try to help you. I'll definitely go out of my way. So may God bless each and every one of you.